Our Labor Day sale is now on. Join Club and save $300. Link in the description.
We were looking for about $46 billion in revenues, roughly $1 a share in adjusted EPS. Top line, bottom line expected to beat. After hours, we've got adjusted EPS is 1.05. Second quarter revenue, 46.7 billion, so in line. This is the margin was very important for me to see. Adjusted gross margin, 72.7%. I think last time was like 71, 72. So we're still in the ball game. And then Q3 revenue is expected to be 54 plus or minus 2%, which is exactly what was expected, low 50s billion range. So they didn't crush it. They met. The big picture with Nvidia, at least for me, is this guidance where they say we still have surging demand, which is why they printed well on data center. We know this AI-focused data center build out is strong orders from hyperscalers. This is the reason for the season. But I'm looking, that's all enterprise customers. I'm also looking for their guidance as it relates to the Trump administration coming in saying we're going to take 15% of your top line. Again, to be negotiated, but still it's a threat. China. Let's talk about China. China doesn't need Nvidia. The source of growth for Nvidia since early 2024 into 2025 has been China. So whether they can accommodate through different chips or continue their bypassing of sanctions through other countries, you could look at the flow of chips from Singapore and Malaysia into China. It's fully backdoor. So long story short, it's getting hit even though Nvidia is fine. Now, so you know, the way that I recommended playing Nvidia wasn't directly with options because all I care about is after earnings coming into and 172 and whether it can get and stay below. If it can get and stay below 172, we're in a really nice breakdown type of swing short reversion to the mean level all the way to 152. Well, what do you got this right now? You have literally you've got a low of 171.86. That's called 172. So one way that I suggested was the Qs would get hit on a pullback to that 172. So my suggestion was short the Qs for an Nvidia event. But we're still not inside 172. All we did was come back to 172. Now we need to get...
Nice call. That was a nice call down to 172.
I know I'm really specific, but that's not important. It's important that we get below 172 and we stick that landing. Then we're going to drop $20. That's more fun for me. It's not gaming earnings. I don't like that game. The edge is not there. You can play it because you love all this advanced option stuff when it comes to earnings play. I like set it and forget it option stuff like the ASTS. That's like sock drawer, leave it. It's doing great. But this is different. I think we're going to break 172. The market is going to have more volatility. And it's time, a little bit more shake and bake.
I'll say we're also looking at a very interesting profile from a gamma perspective where we're sort of in a very thick cradle of support sort of gamma environment where we are in the S&P right now. Now, if we get above 6550, 6600, I think it is, then we really start to have the potential for an accelerant to the upside with very, very little gamma or negative gamma. But similarly to the downside, below 6400 is where people keep talking about that 6400 is that last stand where below there we start to get a bit of a potential for an acceleration. So is this event enough to get us down there?
No,
I don't know
not until we
about
break
that.
172. Yeah. No, we did this. Let me just show my chart real quick on this. So on the SPX, just real quick, this was a short that I had recommended in the room. We needed to get back below 64.45 and then absolutely we were heading down 84 down to 63.41.08. So it's going here. Next time Nvidia breaks that 172, we're heading right back into this area. Now, at the time, I didn't know this, but Jason from Volland in our contributor channel, he had posted right here, when SPX hits that 63.50, massive amount of puts were sold. And that's why we bounced and stayed very firmly above that key level of 63.50. So I did not get my 63.41, but we will go there. So this is SPX, by the way. This does not show you what's going on after hours. What you have after hours is Nvidia, of course. They're monetizing already, whatever. They were protecting. They're buying it at the 172. You cannot see it here, but this is a weekly. This is my 172. So let me just bring it over here real quick. It literally tagged perfectly. Look at that. So that's what I'm expecting. We digest here, we roll back over, we break the 172, and we're going to go back in. That's where the fragility comes in to SPX, is once we get that weakness in SPX below that 63.41. Then we're going to have a little bit more air pocket. Just remember the caveat to all of that cheerleading, okay? They are losing the market in China. It does matter. And their associated tentacles in everything will also translate to this ecosystem of AI losing the market in China. So that growth engine is absolutely not stalling. It's stopping. They're creating their own. I know I've said this for months and months since the DeepSeek event and whatever it was, January 14th, 16th, and I wrote about it at length, the Manhattan Project 2.0. They are reinventing at a faster pace because they can. They've got the smartest brains. They've got unlimited incentive by the government to do so. And now the government is saying, you will not purchase outside China. Yeah. And now everyone's going, oh no. Now, the reason NVIDIA came out and said, and will hopefully say at the top of the hour, we're not worried about China. We got enough going on here with US CAPEX. Well, CAPEX has never been a long-term solution to growth, by the way. Very much what happened in that 1997, 1999 into the top of March 2000 before a 90% fall. This CAPEX buildup is a monetary illusion, which is short-term, very, very beneficial to valuations. But then what happens? Cash flow starts to get cut in half, and then that gets cut in half again. And then we have margin compression, and we have growth markets that go away because the revenue is not there. So yes, we had a wonderful run up into 2000, and then it took us however many years to make it back, 13, 14, 15. And then of course, we're enjoying all of this now, and we have recency bias, and we're thinking, oh, everything's going to be great with AI. It could take a while. Anyway, so China is definitely not going to be a money source for Nvidia like it was. And that's not priced in.
Join Samantha and Hans at the next Macro to Micro Options Power Hour, held each Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Registration is free. Scan this QR code or click on the link in the description. Watch the full Options Macro to Micro Power Hour episode by clicking on the video here and subscribe to LaDucTrading YouTube channel for more content.